and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I am Agam Vakil. Well, we've seen the markets come off to a certain extent, but still holding on to 12,000 as far as the Nifty is concerned. As you can see, a drop, a marginal one, down by as much as 0.3%. But we do have gains in TCS, one of the heavyweight companies, which is advancing and keeping, well, the fall in check. But save for the information technology companies, we don't have too much going in for companies which are holding on. We do have weakness in Grasim, Adani Ports and ITC, along with Eicher Motors weighing down on the indices. On the broader markets, we have one gainer for two losers on the NSE 500. Trident locked in an upper circuit of 10% again. Repco Home Finance showing a lot of strength. RB Infra, Eclux Services, along with something like a Coffee Day Enterprises, also up and about. But the momentum is with the losers today. Sterlite Technologies down by another 5%, followed by Bandhan Bank, along with ITD Cementation, Indostar Capital, and of course the Vodafone Idea, all declining in trade. So on the whole, it really hasn't been that great of a day. But we must also keep in mind that we really haven't seen too much in terms of, well, turnovers, and of course there's been a relative lack of participation from FIs and DIs over the past few days. More importantly, when it comes to options, there is significant amount of accumulation of both calls and puts around the 12,000 mark, which has led to some analysts believing that, well, there could be some consolidation on the cards. So we'll be watching out for that. But we do have an update from the metal sector, and that's Jindal Steel and Power. But I'm going to get in Nikki Mirchandani to talk to us about JSPL. Nikki.
So JSPL, typically the stock was down and out by 1.5–2% today in today's trade. Gare Palma case, that's where the final hearing, finally there is a development to this, which pretty much clears all the air around this case. Coal Ministry, exclusively to BloombergQuint, said that they are not going to be allocating this Gare Palma block to JSPL, because keeping in mind in public interest, given that even at the premium price or premium percent of 50% from the bid price, it doesn't pretty much reflect, the bid doesn't reflect the true indicative value of the block. So they're going to be going ahead and rejecting that. That pretty much has a lot of repercussions on JSPL, given that we were expecting an incremental EBITDA coming in to an extent of 500 crore, cost saving to an extent of 800 to 1,000 odd crore. So a good 5 to 7% of EBITDA technically has been lost on account of this. But then a lot of damage has already been done to the stock. If you look at December 4th, trajectory of stock price until now that we've seen, for that matter, just a day's price that we're looking at. But if you look at the price that we've seen from here, that's the December 4th price, you're going to be seeing a downtick coming in on this counter to an extent of 7 to 8%. This is the first time when the Gare Palma case actually came into the fore, and since then you've already seen stock price losing as much as the stock reacting and going down by as much as 7 to 8% down in the trade. The analyst suggested a 30%, a 30 rupee per share uptick if Gare Palma block was given to JSPL. But then losses have been done to an extent of 8 to 10% until now. So we're yet to see what's the kind of further erosion that we can look at JSPL. Right now doesn't seem to be reacting too much in this development.
Fair enough, Nikki. Thanks for joining us and getting us that update on JSPL. And from there on, we want to very quickly address the information technology sector. Well, actually the IT sector has done well, but that's largely on account of one stock, that's TCS. As you can see, it's up as much as 3%, which is why it also pushes the sector higher. But we must also remember that we've seen a handful of gains in perhaps Tech Mahindra and HCL Technologies, other than the fact that sometimes this the sector is considered as a defensive one, while we have seen weakness in, well, the indices. We must also remember that the rupee has snapped an 8-day losing streak today, and that possibly could be one of the many reasons. But we must remember that this is coming on the back of 8 straight days of, well, losses, which may not really augur well, or rather really have a substantial impact when it comes to the IT industry. But that said, we're going to continue to wait and watch whether or not there are more gains in some of these key names. But for now, of course, the IT sector has been up and about, largely on account of TCS. partially because of Tech Mahindra and HCL Technologies, which are the other heavyweights in that index. And from there on, let's talk about two other stocks that have made Sharad Dubey's radar today. Sharad, what do you have for us?
Hi Agam, the first stock is Ashiana Housing. So this stock is from the small cap space or the realty space. So this is based on the news. The stock was actually up 9%. So this was based on the news that the company has sees booking of almost 244 units out of the total 250 units of a project in Jamshedpur itself. So basically it's in the Adityapur area in Jharkhand of Jamshedpur. So around 3.5 lakh square feet of space will be allotted to the bookies. So apart from this, the stock itself, saw good reaction, of almost 8.6% today, its highest seen in almost a month. Now, if you pull out the technical chart, we see, it breached key moving averages, during the day's trade of 50-day moving as well as 100-day moving average before settling just, on the point of 50-day moving average at almost 95 rupees, 60 rupees per share. 95.60 per share. So up next, we also want to point out Indico Remedies. The stock was up more than 5% today, and it was almost highest in 3 weeks it had seen. Basically, the company had received its EU Good Manufacturing Practices certification from UK's regulator body MHRA. So basically, this certification is for the sterile manufacturing facility located in Goa. Now, if you see what analysts are thinking about this stock, so totally almost 7 analysts are tracking the stock. They're having almost equal weightage, for buys and hold. If you see, almost 43% of analysts are recommending a buy, 43 hold and sell the remaining of the 14.3%. Now, the target price has been set at 167.4 rupees with a long-term potential expecting for around 12% for these stocks. So, Agam, these two stocks are buzzing in the space today itself.
All right, Sharad, thanks for getting us those two other stocks which are moving in trade. Of course, we're going to have plenty more when it comes to activity and stock action. But for now, we've seen some amount of consolidation as far as indices are concerned. So we'll be watching out for what more cues there are in store as we move into the final couple of weeks of this trading year. But on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.